Hi, I'm Jimmy. Welcome to my channel. Today we're doing frequently asked questions by people that are making their first trip to Las Vegas. Today's question is, where should I stay on the Las Vegas Strip? That might sound like a simple question, but it's not such an easy question to answer. What I like to do on the Strip might be completely different from what you like to do on the Strip. My priorities might be totally different than yours. For example, the Mandalay Bay has the best pool on the Strip, but their location is absolutely terrible. Is that okay with you? I can't answer that for you. So let's break things down into a few different categories, and I think you'll be able to make your own decision on where you should stay. First category is price. Price is pretty obvious. Where can you get the best deal? There's a few hotels that are typically the cheapest, but it's not always the case. A few years ago, after they remodeled Park MGM, they were trying to fill it up so that was super cheap, and it would have been a great deal to stay there. Typically, the cheapest hotel is the Excalibur. People like to talk a lot of crap about the Excalibur, and personally, I wouldn't stay there, but there's really nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's not the greatest. The rooms are kind of like a Motel 6, but if you want to save some money and you're willing to do that, more power to you. It's still a mega resort directly on the Las Vegas Strip. In the grand scheme of things, it's still pretty nice. Here's a list of what are typically the cheapest hotels on the Strip. Quality is the next one that's kind of obvious. Typically the more you pay, the nicer the hotel's going to be. Generally with the rooms, the more recent that it was remodeled, the nicer it's going to be. Keep in mind that most of the properties have a couple different towers, and those towers are remodeled at separate times. For example, the MGM has the Grand King and the West King. It's easy to glance over those names, but they actually mean something. Those are two different towers. Another thing to keep in mind with quality, if you go on, say, a Facebook group or a message board or something like that, and you ask about a certain hotel, it doesn't matter what hotel you're talking about. There's always going to be somebody that says, I stayed at Hotel X and it was terrible. The room was dirty, the hotel staff was rude, and I had a terrible experience. These hotels have thousands and thousands of employees, and mistakes are just bound to happen. So if you get enough people, it doesn't matter what hotel you're talking about, there's always going to be somebody that's had a bad experience at one of them. Here's a list of what I think are the top quality hotels on the Strip. The next category is the location. To some people, that's really, really important. To some people, it won't matter. If you walk around, location is key. If you're not really going to go anywhere or you're going to drive, location maybe isn't that important to you. At the very minimum, you want to make sure the casino that you stay at has at least one casino on each side of it and one across the street, which is what makes the Mandalay Bay so terrible. Ideally, you're going to want to stay center strip, somewhere around the Flamingo, the Link, the Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, somewhere in that area. If I had to pick one casino based purely on location, it would probably be the Flamingo. My favorite spot to walk around is the Link Promenade, and it's directly on it. For your first trip, I'd really recommend staying away from the isolated hotels like the Rio, the Strat, the Sahara, Circus, and even Mandalay Bay. Here's a list of what I think are probably the top hotels as far as the location is concerned. The next category for me is the pool. That might not be important to you. The Mandalay Bay probably has the nicest pool on the Strip. It has a wave pool with a real sand beach, a lazy river, multiple pools. The MGM pool is really, really nice. It also has a lazy river, multiple pools. It's huge. The Flamingo has a great pool, multiple pools, big area. It has a water slide. Pretty much every casino has a nice pool. Some are better than others. A bad pool would be something like New York, New York. It's very man-made looking. There's nothing special about it. There's only a single pool. It's not very big of an area. But that's not to say you can't have a great time in it. It's just not really for me. I want a lazy river or something. So now that we've gone through the different categories, you can kind of see why asking a stranger on the internet where you should stay is not a specific enough question. But without knowing anything about you, if I had to make a random recommendation on where you should stay, it would probably be the Flamingo. It's cheap, the location is amazing, the pool's great, and quality's still middle of the pack. Where have you guys stayed and have you liked it? Or where are you planning on staying on your trip? If you found this information helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. If you have any Vegas related questions, leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And consider subscribing for more Vegas related content. Thanks for watching.